Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Mellow Monday. Hey, mellow out with me as we watch the eclipse of the sun today. Yep, up in our neck of the woods, totality. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of cloud cover, and we don't know exactly what it's going to be like come 3 o'clock this afternoon. But we'll at least experience the total darkness, that totality that comes with the eclipse being a total solar eclipse. Got to see it now, because in our lifetime, it's just not going to happen again. Not up here. You have to fly somewhere in the world to see it. But hey, let's take a look at the totality that seems to be apparent in our psalm reading for today. Does God only go so far, or is God's love for us limitless? I don't know. Psalm 4. Now, let me just say a little something before we get to that. Psalm 3 and 4 seem to go together. In fact, a lot of people put them together because they both say they're a Psalm of David. Now, whether that means he wrote it, or someone wrote it in his honor, or someone's just attributing it to him and some of the things that David's going through, that's probably it. Because Psalm 3, it says, a Psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son. What was going on there? His son had revolted against him. And now David's in trouble. He's fleeing for his very life. But here's the thing that brings the two psalms together. It's in Psalm 3. It's verse 5. I lie down and sleep. I wake again, for the Lord sustains me. All right, going to bed at night, sleeping. Here, and you're waking up. Now, in peace, I both lie down and sleep. For thou alone, O Lord, makest me dwell in safety. You see that what's going on there? In the first one, in Psalm 3. He's waking up, and in Psalm 4, going to sleep. In both instances, convinced that God's going to bring him through. All right, let's get into Psalm 4. A lot of people, this is kind of a confusing psalm because there's at least two voices in it. The voice of the psalmist and the voice of God. So if you want to say David, okay, let's just say David for convenience sake. David is saying, God, answer me. I'm calling out to you. This is a psalm of lament. And I know you've been in the past, you've been good and gracious to me. Where are you right now? And then God comes into the scene. And then it's David, then it's God, then it's David. It's just back and forth like that. Someone said, well, why is all this going on? And they likened it to a teenager and his parents. Yep, you know the score. Both from having teenagers in your house, possibly, or very probably being a teenager yourself. You're in that stage where you're trying to push away from parental authority, and yet that parental authority is still hovering over you, and you find that a very tough deal, especially when you've ignored your parents and now you find yourself in trouble. That seems to be what's going on in this psalm. So it starts out with in the first verse, where the psalmist David is saying, God, answer me, would you please? I'm looking for some help here. And then God comes along in verse 2 and says, oh, how much longer are you just going to diss my name? Come on. How long are you just going to talk a whole bunch, a lot of hot air, and not do what, I ask you to do something and you don't do it. You just go around and badmouth me. How long is that going to go on? And then David comes back and says, yeah, but God, there's a lot of good in us, and we really do our best to look up to you and do what you want us to do. And in the past, when I've done that, you've listened to me and you've answered me. Why are you doing it now? And then God comes back to David and says, okay, look, here's the deal. Stop your sinning, all right? Just get your act together. Be a good person toward me and toward others, all right? And also, when you go to church, put something in the offering plate, for heaven's sakes. In fact, stop taking stuff out of the offering plate when it's passed. Come on, buddy, get your act together. And then David replies, God, there's a lot of people just wondering if you're for real or not. Are you really there? They're looking for something good to be happening, and they just don't happen to see it. So, God, what you got to do is give us all a break. Let the light of thy countenance shine upon us, O Lord. And there's a little thing here right at the end. You know, it's just like a really good party that's finally broke out. And we're all going to have a lot of fun, if you know what I mean. But it ends with this. And you know, God, because I know you're going to come through, in peace I will both lie down and sleep. For thou alone, O Lord, makes me dwell in safety. Okay, yeah, pretty cool psalm. A little difficult to get through when you first look at it, but as the one commentator put it, just imagine it's a teenager versus adult parent. And you can see the truth of it coming through. Now, why for the season of Easter? Because, you know, it's kind of a wake-up call. Get real with your life. Get real with your faith. You know, it's not all easy, and it's not going to be a pathway that's lined with roses. So you got to be ready and willing to listen to the voice of God and follow in his pathways. There you go. Well, these chickens, I don't know. They're either laying eggs right now, or they're all talking about the eclipse that's about to unfold and how it's going to be pitch black in the middle of the day. Hardly wait. God's blessings be with you, and you have a wonderful day.